Thank you. He's from Clearmont. I'm going to introduce Rosemary Wilson, Commissioner Rosemary Wilson. She will introduce our keynote address to you today.
Good morning, and thank you, Ms. Terry. That was lovely. The city is honored this year to have former U.S. Army Sergeant Katia Ibanez as its keynote speaker. Former Army Sergeant Ibanez served in the military for 7 years. She was born in Colombia, South America. She migrated to the United States at the age of 4 and was raised in Miami. She moved back and forth from Miami to Colombia during her teenage years and permanently returned to the United States at the age of 18. She considers Florida her home. She is the first in her family to serve in the military. She was part of the 82nd Airborne Division in Fort Bragg, North Carolina, and the 173rd Airborne Brigade Combat Team in Warner Barracks, Germany. While on active duty, former Army Sergeant Ibanez served with distinction in many capacities. She was among the first few waves of female soldiers to be attached to an infantry unit to serve in a combat role. Their goal was to gather better intelligence and increase the local population support of the U.S. troops in Iraq. She was selected by Valencia College, faculty members to recite the Pledge of Allegiance and meet President Obama during his speech on women's issues at Valencia College in March 2014. She has made the President's list for academic success every semester. With that, I present U.S. Army Sergeant Katia Ibanez.
She made me sound like a rock star. Mayor Vandergrift, commissioners, fellow veterans, and esteemed guests. I'm extremely honored and humbled to be here today, but I feel I must be honest with you. When the opportunity to speak here today was initially presented to me, I quickly rejected it. I felt like I was not worthy. There are many veterans who have come before me that have given so much that deserve to be here today, and veterans who have given it all. But later, as I talked to my friends who were fellow veterans, they discussed the issue with me and they talked me into it. And as I argued my case, I also realized that I've actually felt a little unrepresented the last few years. My generation of female soldiers hasn't been widely represented the last few years, and they play a big role in today's military. Only 2% of today's population, or less than 2% of today's population, currently serves in the military, and that's including all 5 branches. And that's a big reason why veterans are so misunderstood, because it's only a little bit of Americans that have actually served. And within that tiny 2%, the amount of females that serve in the military are even smaller. So today I'm here to share my story with you in hopes that my voice, or that I can be a voice for female veterans from my generation. So like the commissioner said, I was born in South America and I moved back and forth throughout my life. But at the age of 18, I came back to the United States, and fresh out of high school, I joined the Army. Like many of you here, I listened to everything that my recruiter had to say, and within 11 days of going to his office, I was already shipped off to boot camp. I attended basic training at Fort Jackson, South Carolina, and then I went on to Fort Lee, Virginia for my specific job training. While I was there, I learned that I had an opportunity to earn an extra $150 a month if I signed up to become a paratrooper. That's so you jump out of perfectly good working airplanes for $150. And growing up as a really poor girl, when I was 18, I was like, $150 is a lot of money, so I signed right up. So after airborne school and jumping out of airplanes, I got assigned to the 82nd Airborne Division at Fort Bragg, North Carolina. And I deployed with that unit to Iraq for 14 months. My job while I was in Fort Bragg was actually to provide logistical support to the brigade while I was there. But when I arrived to Iraq, to my surprise, I got attached to an infantry unit. This was kind of an experiment at that time. Women had, of course, participated in combat roles prior to my deployment to Iraq, but never had been actually or officially attached to an infantry unit, let alone a parachute infantry unit. I was the only female in a platoon of almost 30 men, and at the beginning it was extremely intimidating. I had all these grunts that knew so much about weapons and convoys and had been previously deployed to Afghanistan, but they all welcomed me with open arms and trained me and gave me the tools that I needed to be successful and be part of the team. So I'm very proud of that deployment. We actually started the deployment serving as an escort team for resupply operations in southern part of Iraq to move supplies to the northern part of Iraq. But we actually ended up at the end of the deployment living out of our trucks for the last 3 months. It pretty much looked like, if you went to our area where we slept, like a scene from the movie Jarhead. We were very short on food, water, supplies, ammunition, and until we were able to receive resupply from helicopters. And I remember one of those days that we received like our second resupply. We actually got Special K cereal and really hot milk. It was like 120 degrees outside, and it felt like Christmas eating that cereal with really hot milk. We were all very happy. So like I said, I was extremely proud of my accomplishments during that tour, and the skills that I learned because I was attached to an infantry unit allowed me to excel above my peers, and I actually got promoted to sergeant rather quicker than most people in my fields. When I returned from Iraq, I got married with my boyfriend of 2 years, which is, of course, my best friend, and we've been married for the last 6 years. My husband is also a veteran. After spending some time at Fort Bragg, I was stationed in Germany in the 173rd Airborne Brigade Combat Team, and I deployed with that unit to Afghanistan for 12 months. Although I was in a support unit and my technical job was in support, I found myself again patrolling the mountains in Afghanistan for the first few months of the deployment. Thankfully, my patrols took place in the wintertime, so it was quite uneventful. But I can't say the same for my brothers in arms. On August 31st of 2010, I lost 4 of my brothers to an IED. They were on a routine patrol when an IED struck their armored vehicle, and all 4 of them were killed in action. This is a reality that will never escape me. The vivid images of medevac helicopters making lines in the sky to download injured and deceased troops at makeshift hospitals made of tents is a reality that I cannot escape. Excuse me. The sound of urgent calls for A positive blood type on the loudspeaker is a reality that most will never know. My brothers died that August 31st, and for their families, it is a reality that they endure every single day. My brothers were Staff Sergeant Vincent Atkinson, Sergeant Raymond Alcaraz, Specialist James Page, and Specialist Matthew George. And although today is Veterans Day, it is Veterans Day for me every day. I live every day to honor their sacrifice. I try to be the best person that I can be so that their lives are not wasted on me. I honor the lives that they gave up for our freedom, and their memory will always live through me. I finished out my 7 years of service while in Germany, and I moved back to Florida. I am now attending Valencia College with plans to transfer to UCF and get my very much desired degree, a Bachelor of Science in Industrial Engineering. I am president of the Student Veterans of America chapter on my campus, and I hope to continue being of service to veterans in need, especially in the Orlando community. We focus on bettering lives for our student veterans on campus, and something that we actually have right now is the Remember Our Fallen Traveling Memorial Wall at Valencia College. We will be hosting the wall for the remainder of the week from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., so you are all welcome to join us there. I hope to continue to serve my country in some capacity through veteran outreach programs in the community. I hope to work for a company such as Lockheed Martin, where my skills and efforts can continue to be utilized to support our troops and provide them with the best equipment that technology has to offer. Who better to work for than for those who serve our country? I also dream on becoming a mother and providing my children the opportunities that I did not have. All of these things are possible because of the sacrifices that my mother made, my military service, and all of those veterans who came before us, who gave their lives for our freedom. So to all my fellow veterans, I salute you.